Okay everyone, so welcome to part 2 of our coding challenge solution, and we will be working with certain background properties such as the background size, background repeat, and the background position properties here so that we can go and create this background image that is fixed on our screen. If we go to our definition here, our documentation, it will be telling us that the background size property specifies the size of the background image. And we have 4 different syntaxes that we can use with the property. We have here the keyword syntax that uses the auto, cover, and the contain. The one value syntax that sets the width of the image and the height becomes auto. The two value syntax which will be having a first value with a width of the image and second value with the height. And the multiple background syntax that is separated by a comma. Now, if we try to go down here, we can see that we have some CSS syntax here. Let's go and try to see here how it will be working for us. So we can see here the CSS property. We can specify two values. We can specify using pixels and percentage. We have the cover, the contain, and the initial. Okay, so we can actually apply this in our project. I would suggest that you again try to check out the try it yourself here, but I won't be doing that anymore so that we won't be consuming too much of our time. Let's just go and try to apply this in our project. So let's go to our code editor here and apply the background size property with the value cover first. Let's see how that will work. So let's go and refresh this. You would see now that the image is now serving as a cover for the whole site. Now, if we try to use the value contain, let's see how that will look. Okay, we can see here that the image is fully visible, and unlike with the value cover, and if we try to go here, we can see that the contain value will be resizing the background image to make sure that the image is fully visible. On the other hand, with the cover or the value cover, it will resize the background image to cover the entire container, even if it has to stretch the image or cut a little bit off one of the edges. Okay, so I hope that you got the idea on how this works. And here we have the value length, which will be setting the width and height of the background image. The first value sets the width, the second value sets the height. And if one value is given, the second is set to auto. So I think that is also here. If we try to go to our try it here, and for the percentage, that's the same thing. It will be setting the width and height of the background image in percent of the parent element. Just take note of that. So here, if we maximize the use of pixels, here we have the percentage. So pixels are value length, as we all know, and percentage will be more on based from the percentage of the parent element. This is an absolute length. If you remember our lessons in our length units, okay, so we have here the CSS units and we have the absolute lengths, and that includes the pixels. And if you also remember, the percentage is relative length. It will be relative to the parent element. Now let's try to go and look up the background repeat property here, which will be setting if or how a background image will be repeated. So by default, a background image is repeated both vertically and horizontally. One keynote to remember here is that it will be placed according to the background position property that we have here. So if no background position is specified, the image is always placed at the element's top left corner. So just keep note of that, the following syntax here, we can see here if we play it. Okay, so we can see that there's the background repeat. We have the repeat x-axis. We have the repeat y-axis. So x is the horizontal, y is the vertical. No repeat, the space, and the round, and then the initial. Okay, now let's try to go and apply that in our project. So let's have a background repeat, and let's give it a no repeat value here. Let's go look at our project here, refresh, and there you go. We were able to place an image, a single image inside of our website here. Now what we want to do is to go and place it on the right side. So before we do that, let's first go and look at the background position property here. We can see here that it says that the starting position will be set by this property, and by default, the background image is placed at the top left corner of an element and will be repeated both vertically and horizontally. So if you remember, we had our picture from the left, top left corner, and it was repeated vertically or horizontally and vertically. Now, if we go back to our documentation here, we can see that the default value is 0%, 0%. And we have the syntax here. We can use keywords such as left top, left center, left bottom, and so on. And if you only specify one keyword, the other value will be center. So we also have here the first value is the horizontal position. That's the x-axis. The second value is the vertical position. The top left corner is 0%, 0%. So the right bottom corner is 100%, 100%. If you only specify one value, the other value will be 50%. Default value is 0%, 0%. So we have here the horizontal position, and the second value is the vertical. So top left corner is 0, 0. Units can be pixels or any other CSS units. If you only specify one value, the other value will be 50%. And you can mix percentage and position. So we can actually use y, pause, and percentage. Let's just go and see the play it here. So we can see some examples here: left top, left center, left bottom, right top, right center, right bottom, center top. And here we can see that this is one way for us to actually position an image in the center of our page. So we also have the 50%, 50% here. So now guys, let's try to apply this in our project here. Let me open our code editor here, and let's give it a background position of 100% and 100%. Let's see how that will look on our browser. And there you go. We were able to place it on the right side of our screen. If you remember, it says here that the right bottom corner is the 100%, 100%, and that's why it was repositioned here on the right side. Now I just want to go and change the background color now of our page here. So let's go to our code editor, and let's also apply the background color, and I would want to use light yellow. Let's save that and then try to refresh. Okay, so we can see that the same background color is now applied in our project here. So in the next lesson, we will be doing, or we will try to go and reposition the image, and we'll try to go and have it positioned in a way that we can have the rest of the document scroll down. So I'm hoping you got the idea here and you were able to learn more about the different background property values that we have here for CSS. Again, I would suggest that you try to go and test things out. You try to play around a little bit with the property values that we have here so that you will be familiarized on how to use them. So thank you, and see you on our next lesson.